Okay, so the plan was
Yes, it was. Tell them.
we just gonna check in, see how everybody's doing. We
Yeah.
know everybody's in holiday mode and there's a lot of family stuff going on. So we just gonna check in, do some life updates, do some prayer, then tomorrow afternoon, just have a longer time for us to sit and chill. So we here to check in, see how everybody's doing, catch these life updates. But man, listen, y'all might catch a little bit tonight. Y'all just might catch. Listen, y'all just might catch it. So yeah, Friday evening, Sabbath evening, worship and word. We come here, we check in with each other, we read God's word, we pray with and for each other. This is a spot that we do that. So it's good to see you after a break and to connect in this space. Man, Chris, how you feeling?
I feel like the embodiment of the emotional wheel.
Oh, you still in the middle of that thing?
We in the middle of the, so this week was a very interesting week. I'm actually on the joyful side and also on the peaceful side. Joy and peace, y'all. Joy and peace. We in the holiday season. Um, a lot of things have been shifting.
Yeah.
Professionally, I feel blessed.
Yeah.
Somebody this week reminded me of my mission and my calling before I took on this full-time position.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We starting? I mean,
Hey, listen, y'all. So my entire plan, like goals and everything, started to shift based on the new trajectory that I've gone to. Your boy got a little bit more flexibility now. It's different when Pete got to ask you, are you at home or you in the streets?
yeah, you just be out.
We out. Right? You know what I'm saying? So what's happening now though is if I'm not careful, I may lean towards thinking that what has been really a detour or a means to the bigger end
Oh, don't come at me.
is the end. Rah.
Don't come at me today. Come on,
Because
Chris.
because it's not difficult,
See, that's
right? I mean, of course there's some difficulty, but there's some challenges, but the reward at the end, I'm like, man, but the reward is not the end.
oh,
Right? This is supposed to be a resource, not the ultimate reward. So so today, early this week, somebody reached out. Listen, man, and got me to realize when I looked back at the things that I was building this year. A lot of y'all know the business storytelling stuff. I looked back and they were asking me some questions, and I realized, hold on, wait a minute, I already answered the questions to all of these things.
yeah.
I already did the work. All I need now is to activate it.
Yeah, that's good.
Activate it. All I need is the funding to fund somebody to do what I activate. That's it. That's all I got. All I got to do is hire somebody now. And I think that in this place now, yeah, joy and peace, y'all. Joy and peace. Next year is going to look different because I'm not letting go of what I was pressing so hard for in the beginning of this year. I think that it would have been fully lost if I didn't have that moment, those 6 months to really hone in, ask the questions, be very introspective about where it is that I want to go. And now things have shifted a little bit because one of my core values is mastery. So in the position that I'm in right now, you better believe I'm looking at over the next year, what does this look like, me being in this employed position? How do I add value to where I'm at right now? However, I got to keep the main thing, y'all. So, yeah, joy and peace.
Man.
What you saying over there?
Man, Cerise checking in, Alicia, Donna, and Elaine, Delma, Carmilla as well. It's it's good to see everybody after
It is.
off. And
It
we just
is.
want to check in and say what's up. Go ahead and drop those live
We missed y'all.
praise reports, testimonies. Go ahead and drop those in the comment section. We want to know what's going on with you and how God is moving in your life, or even some things that you're kind of wrestling with and uncertain. But by faith, you're still saying, I'm pressing. I'm pressing. Delia checking in with us. Happy Sabbath to you, man. Just in light of what you said, I think sometimes for us, when we're in a space where things are going, reasonably well, or you're checking off some boxes, or there's a sense of contentment. You're trying to practice being like Paul and all things being content.
That's right.
I think there's the danger, as what you said before, as Carlos checks in with us, there's the danger of seeing a milestone as the destination.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know where you thought you were going to 820.
Yeah.
Where he thought he was going.
Yo, hanging out with Recharge Worship, man. Yeah, and Donna she said, listen, keep the main thing the main thing. There's a tendency to take the milestone as the destination. And that happens to so many of us. You know, the natural milestones of life, graduation of high school, you graduate college, you know, because you got your MBA. We both got the same master's degree in interdisciplinary communication. Like, there's sometimes, you know, I'm married, all of that stuff, right? I'm entrepreneur, full-time, six-figure business, all of that. It's an idea of, oh, this milestone was really what I was going for. Nah.
Nope. Turned a benchmark into a bench.
Yeah, like you sat down on the benchmark, like, yeah, this is where I'm supposed to park.
Yeah.
And God is like, nah, that ain't it. It's cute.
Right.
But that ain't it. And the crazy thing about it, y'all, is the mercy of God.
The
mercy of God sometimes allows us to take detours and experience milestones that he never really intended for us.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna let you hang out here and have a good time here, but that's not really what I intended. For you. You know, Marlene's checking in, feeling grateful for life and God's grace and mercy. Absolutely. All of us are in that boat. So kind of think about, and this, the end of the year, it's so cyclical, right, Chris?
Yep.
Gym memberships going up, self-help books flying off the shelf. You getting personal trainers and downloading fitness apps and nutrition report. You buying juicers and all of that stuff because 2022 is gonna be the year of the whatever. And it's like, okay, all right. But have you forgotten about the person that God is looking to grow you into in the process?
Yeah. That's a good point. How are y'all feeling out there? What's going on with your emotional status? How are you feeling? Joyful, scared, peaceful, powerful? I can't even remember them. I was going to say frustrated. I think, is it frustrated or angry? Which is it?
Yeah.
Mad. I don't know what they have. I don't know the sections, the broad section. Y'all. How are you feeling? Definitely want to know. This is a wellness check as well, because
so important. So important.
Around this time, y'all, we know this. We've talked about this before. Around the time of the holidays, things for many people get very somber. Loved ones that we might have even started the year off with.
Right.
We unfortunately aren't able to spend time with them like we weren't even like, not even that we were anticipating. It was just a thing. It was just an expectation, right? And those expectations for many of us have gotten robbed. And so, just want to see how you're doing on that front. But by all means, if you're not feeling that way, that's okay too. As a matter of fact, double blessings if you during this holiday season actually feel like all is calm and all is bright.
Ooh, listen.
So
some people are in vacation mode, all of that stuff going on.
I'm ready.
Are you in vacation mode?
Not yet, man. Not yet.
We
go. Listen, 2022. Let me, man. God is faithful, y'all. God is faithful. What's up, Aaron? Yo, shout out to Aaron for closing her exercise ring.
Yo, I've been ringless for like 2 weeks.
Listen, for all y'all on Rain Gang.
Listen,
me and Cerise can't be the only ones.
Listen.
All right. I'm getting bored. Get bored just tapping Cerise joint. I just tapped it while we were on worship. Like, come on, y'all. Like, you know what? I will do my best. I will do better. Because when we were first doing it, I definitely was more, I got in a little accountability rut. I need to be more proactive in pushing people. I'm like, yo, so what you saying today? So we'll be doing that. Yo, listen, Pete, one of our coworkers, they were able to travel the world 8 times this year, man.
Oh man, speak on that.
Listen, man. Listen, they travel for things, and so, and here's the thing: everything in its time, right?
Yeah.
Pops always says that. Everything in its time.
Okay.
So I'm out here and I'm thinking, okay, that's gonna be me. Everything in its time, though.
I'm ready.
Everything in its time. The way, y'all, man, the way things are set up, it's gonna happen. However, some of y'all don't need to be taking vacations just yet.
Yeah.
And some of y'all do.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're not talking about a couple days. Some of y'all, if you have the capacity to do so, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier today, P. Need to take off months. Now, not everybody has that ability, though. That's not, we're not gonna, however, just know that depending on how much you lift, I'm going back to the gym.
Go back to the
gym scenario.
Yeah, that's good.
How much you lift, also the ratio of how much you rest is that much greater. You actually rest more than you lift when you get to a certain point. And by the way, I've been out of commission. So Reese, you probably have seen it. P, you probably have seen it.
Yeah.
Jason, you probably seen it. I've not been in the gym. I've been walking and doing core exercises because rotator cuff. We kind of did kind of pulled it just to.
Not 25.
Not 25. Swinging a golf club like I was 25, and the golf club swung back. And it was just, yeah. So anyway, that being said, taking that time to rest it off is actually getting better. But all of that to say, I wasn't pressed to try to go back if it's not healed yet, right? Because I'm just gonna do damage. I'm gonna do, more damage. So it's actually feeling really good, but it's not in that place. Let me tell you something that I realized, P. I'm just talking until you ready to hop in because you only with us for another.
Listen. All right. People chiming in the comments, and I'm just.
But I started activating. What's up? Oh, shout out to Elliot too, man. Pastor Brooks. Yeah. Pastor Brooks is he's on a new. Yeah. I can't even call it a new. It may be new for y'all.
we already knew.
Yeah, we already knew, right? KNEW, but he's created and he's launched a new platform podcast. Go ahead and drop that in the comments, Pastor Brooks. And I even like the title, the title too. Yeah, so. He's doing some things, man. This is the time to do it. 2022, man. It's coming in, and it's really exciting time. So, anyway, yeah, y'all, just going back. Rest. One of the things that I realized that I needed to activate more, even though I'm on one particular program, was I started doing some core exercises, y'all, and I realized how much my core wasn't as activated as I thought it was. I was trying to do some of these core exercises on YouTube, P. Like all you need to do is just lift your legs up, and I was like, I can't. Like,
tearing you up.
Oh my gosh, the side planks with the lifting of the.
Yes. Tearing you up.
I felt so I'm in the gym, right? We squatting 2 sets, you just killing, and I'm thinking, how can I not be able to because everything is activated when you power lift or when you do specific areas, right?
Yeah.
But man, when you do the ISO, I said, okay, just because you can lift don't mean you can live. I had a hard time lifting my own body weight, y'all. So anyway, that being said, there's always room for growth. So
listen. So okay, speaking of growth, right? Speaking of growth, this was kind of man. Okay, God. All right.
I don't know what he thought. I'm gonna just be quiet because you gotta leave soon. So.
Listen, so here's the thing, right? So I'm hopping over to Recharge Worship at about 8:30, and I was working on this week. I was just kind of working on gathering my thoughts for this, just hanging out and just kind of talking. And it just wasn't gelling, man. It just was. I was like, what is up with that? Like that doesn't happen often. Right. So a guy was like, no, this is kind of what I want you to talk about. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. I'll just do it. I was like, so what am I supposed to do with this? Because we were gonna just kind of chill and take it easy tonight, right?
Yeah.
And then you said a couple of things just now, and I'm like, okay, I got to drop this in. I got to drop this in right here, right? So when you look at Matthew chapter 13, Chris,
oh boy,
when you look at Matthew chapter 13, the parable of the wheat and tares, there's just a little part of this that I want us to talk about for just a little bit,
okay?
Right, because the parable is an eschatological parable. It's a parable about the end of things. It's a parable about the end of time.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not just that. A lot of times when we look at the words of Jesus, sometimes we lose out on, as we're future leaning, we miss out on present application.
Speak on that.
People in the business world got this on lock. Like, they have taken biblical principles and activated it in the here and now. Many of which not even believers in God, but they're activating these biblical principles in the here and now.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, okay, what are the principles inside of the parable of the wheat and tares? As it's an end of time parable, but stuff that we can just kind of latch onto in the here and now.
Yeah.
And there's a part, Chris, that had me floored. It had me floored. It said, verse Matthew chapter 13, verse 26. But when the grain had sprouted and produced the crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, "Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?" He said to them, "An enemy has done this." The servant said to him, "Do you want us then to go and gather them up?" But he said, Matthew chapter 13, verse 29, but he said, "No, lest while you gather up the tares, you uproot the wheat with them." Okay, so
yeah,
here's the principle. This has got one principle, 1 point, right?
Oh boy.
One principle, 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
In our journey, God allows some things to simply grow together. Let me back it up. In our journey, God simply allows some things to grow together.
Yeah.
Here's what I mean by that. In the parable, the owner says, we can't take the tares out with the wheat at this stage, because if we take the tares, and tares, I mean, it's controversy depending on who you read, but tares are really, if you ingest tares, it can make you sick. It's bitter. If it gets in with wheat and mixes into the flour and makes bread, it's not a great circumstance. So tares are of a type of, you can even categorize them as a weed. The crazy thing about it is that at varying stages, you can't tell wheat from tares.
Okay.
You can't distinguish them.
Okay.
So I asked the question, why does the man say to his servants, please don't take out the tares, the difficulty, don't take out the weed, don't take out the problematic thing, don't take out the frustrating thing, don't take out the thing that we want right now. Let them both grow together. And we always put that in the context of, okay, at the end of time, the righteous and the wicked all grow together, and at the end, the harvest is going to come. And that's true. That's the eschatological interpretation of this in the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 13. But there is a principle of this that we can apply right now. And the principle is there is, when we look at our lives, when we look at the vision that God has given to us, and even the progression of where he wants us to go, there are some things we will not get to until we develop the strength that comes from the present discomfort.
Rewind. Yep. Go. Yep. Go ahead.
There are just some things that we will not get to until we gain the strength that comes from the present discomfort. So you can't take the tares out now at this stage, because the wheat is not strong enough for that separation.
Wow. Yep. Okay. Okay.
It's the wheat cannot handle that separation. And if you take it out at this stage, and that's what the master says, if you do it right now, you will uproot the wheat with the tares. But so you have to allow, and the parable is clear. Wow. God is not putting us intent on putting us in a position where he wants our life to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Not what he wants for us.
That's
that
right.
The response is an enemy has done this. An enemy has created a difficult context. And I know you're not quite strong enough to bear the fruit of what I've planted in you.
Yeah.
Unless you draw strength from the difficult moments that you have to endure right now. And as you draw strength from the difficult moments, a natural separation will occur.
Wow.
Let me put it a little bit plainer. Let me put it a little bit plainer. There are some of us when we recognize, usually at different stages of our lives, our social circles change. Woo! Oftentimes, the reason why your social circles change at different stages of your life is because as you progress, as you mature, as what has been planted inside of you grows, there is a natural separation that takes place. What happens to too many of us is we try to separate before we've drawn strength.
I thought you were going to say we try to take what we're trying to grow from along with us, but
Listen,
but you're right. You're right about that.
As we are maturing, there's a natural separation that there's a vocabulary. How, Chris, you know, who goes to the gym, right?
Listen. Hey, P, let me just interject.
Jump in.
I felt the separation that was beginning to kind of pull at the seams a few years ago when you had started your doctorate, and I still wasn't. I'm not that I was grown, but I felt, I was like, shoot. Yep. And if I don't, then we not. So I gotta listen, y'all. It's real. This thing is real. Like, I have felt the shift in friendships where it's like, and some of them is like, okay, yeah, you want a different, that's cool. And there are others are like, man, if you want to be able to still be able to with this individual, then you got to level up too. Because if you don't, man, it will naturally
start hitting the gym hard body. I'm like, wait a minute. We need to start skipping rope or something.
No, that's facts though. But guess what? That happened when you started running in February.
See?
He out here in the cold running. Oh, all right, let me go ahead and dust these shoes out. So one hand, man. Wow, washes the other, man. Iron sharpening iron. What's happening is too, and I'm gonna lob it back over to you. Is sometimes when the iron is sharp, you start to realize that you probably weren't with iron before.
Come on.
Wood.
Come on. Straw.
Listen, Paul talk about the same thing. Talk about the same thing. Is the 1 Corinthians 3 says, listen, same foundation, but some people build with, and other people build with, and other people build with, but then there's going to be a testing fire that comes, y'all.
Right.
That is going to show what really is at the end, like what's gonna withstand. Now all of y'all save, but you will have the man. If only I really built with things that really mattered.
Yeah,
like y'all are all saved. Don't get it twisted. However, what you built with, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel that in your salvific status. Anyway,
man, this is the reason why that's so deep, right? And Pastor Brooks is like, "Oh, we doing this tonight?"
Oh yeah, we doing it.
Because here's what I'm wrestling with. In the story, right? Because we're talking about how do we apply the principle now.
Yeah.
In the story, the man who sowed the good seed is intent on harvest. Harvest is not in question.
Right.
That is going to be the outcome of what he has done.
Yeah.
He knows there's a discomfort of allowing these two things to grow together.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he has planted is going to produce fruit.
Right.
So what's another principle for us? Why do I spend so much time focusing on the tares and not enough time focusing on how I'm growing in the process?
Period. Because tares are going to come anyway.
They come in anyway. And
Yeah.
in fact,
Yeah.
once you reach a point of maturity in one area, a point of spiritual growth in one area,
Yeah.
you will be replanted in a different area where you will have to start the maturation process all over
again. Yep. Yep. And what was good?
Come on.
What was good for the field wasn't necessarily good for the wheat just yet. That's another piece too, right? Because we're
Yeah.
over here and we're thinking like, okay, so this is good for the big picture. However,
Yeah.
going back to what you said before, but what you've planted is not in a place where what's good for it, separation, is good. This is a good and healthy practice. The healthy practice itself would still damage the premature state that you, your relationship, your finances, your job, your entrepreneurial venture, your exercise. Listen, hey, remember people when I had a Achilles tendonitis?
Yep.
I was trying to run like I had ran back in high school cross country days. Like, running is good, running is healthy, but my wheat wasn't ready for it. Some of y'all trying to get into networks with other individuals and you want to level up.
You're not ready.
Download the Mint app first and start budgeting properly.
You're not ready. And understand the owner, the man who sowed the seed.
Yeah.
He says, allow them to grow together.
Yeah.
Because they're not ready for harvest. They're not ready yet.
Yeah.
For what I'm looking for in them.
Yeah.
And for a lot of us, y'all, we spend a lot of time reflecting on the struggle. And I know story, history, all of that. I'm well versed in it.
Yeah.
We spend a lot of time rehearsing the struggle and not enough time focusing on the grace, mercy, and growth in the process.
Yeah.
You know what? You know why that's dangerous? Because sometimes you are ready to be in another space.
Yeah.
But your perspective is off because I've only been looking at the tears.
Oh man. So Michael Haywood, shout out to Michael Haywood. He bringing in some science into this situation. He talking about separate like leaves, like trees in the fall, dropping those leaves. So this abscission, y'all know. So abscission. So this is when I did a little way. You probably remember.
I remember.
Oh man. So y'all know that when the fall time comes and the leaves start to die off, when they fall on the ground, this process that he's talking about, the leaves also have, I don't know if it's a particular chemical, but there's something in the leaves that are now dead, that are now like they're no longer living. As beautiful as they look, they had to fall off. And as they are now covering the area of where the trees are, what this does is during the wintertime, it prevents any other thing from rising up when springtime comes. So the very things that have fallen off. All right, some of y'all want to hold on to fall longer than y'all need to.
Come on.
Right? And so as beautiful as leaves look, as pretty as they turn out, you also got to understand that they're also dying. And they're dying for a very particular purpose. Because if they don't fall off in time, when springtime come around after winter, there's going to be some competition underneath that ground for who's getting what nutrients from where, and that tree will have some other stuff coming up too.
Yeah.
Y'all, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. Like, I think that, you, by the way, you just dropped like 5 principles. I don't know what you were talking about. So one principle. We are
sub principles.
So right, because we can look at this from the perspective of separation.
Yeah, so many.
We can look at this from the perspective of maturity.
Yeah.
We can look at this from the perspective of you just brought up Rose's comment about identifying. And so looking at these perspectives, we're in a season, y'all. Winter is coming. Yes, I said it. Yes,
so many different implications of that.
Winter is coming. Anyway, Pete. Yeah, listen, man. Take us to another. Listen, you're not gonna be here for long. So we not gonna be here for long. After you leaving, I'm leaving too.
Yeah. Listen, so here's what I was wrestling with earlier.
Yeah.
I was going through my life and I realized at every stage of transformation, a separation was necessary. And I want to go back to the point and pick up that point that you said earlier.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things to recognize and embrace is that everybody doesn't get to enjoy harvest with you.
Especially the tares. Y'all will grow up together, but y'all ain't gonna feast together. As a matter of fact, I want to look up the word harvest because we make harvest sound like it's a great.
Can I drop this in while you looking this up?
Go ahead.
Be careful, and we just take this word and we throw it around haphazardly, right? Like cologne at Macy's. It's just in the air. How can you expect harvest if you ain't planted nothing? It cannot be your harvest season if you have not planted anything or if nothing has been implanted in you. Don't listen. A lot of smooth talking, slow music telling you it's your season. Okay. If it's your season, ask God to remind you what's been planted.
So and by the way, y'all check out Proverbs. You reap certain things. If you reap laziness,
that's what you
you sow. So if you don't sow nothing, you sowing something.
If you don't sow, you sowing.
You sow laziness, you'll reap poverty. I'll go ahead and read that. Harvesting is the process of gathering a ripe crop from the fields.
Yeah.
Okay. Reaping is the cutting of grain or pulse for harvest, typically used by a scythe, sickle, or reaper. I know the Grim Reapers that use little, on smaller farms with minimal mechanization, harvesting is the most labor-intensive activity of the growing season. Most labor-intensive activity. Okay, so let's back up. The separation is happening.
Rose.
The separation that's happening ain't technically harvest from the definition itself.
Right.
Bringing in the sheep. No, before you bring in the sheaves, you got to determine. Rose said it. What's sheaves and what's not? What's wheat and what's not? Separate it, and then you get to work. And for many, it's the most. So in other words, so here's another. So you did the sowing, you did the separating, but you ain't do the reaping. So when Jesus said, the harvest is plenty,
but the labor intense.
Y'all put in so much work. This is what I'm dealing with this year, y'all.
Yeah.
This is what I'm dealing with this year. So the things that I've sown have now been, it's now at a point, 2022. It's now at a point where it's like, okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to turn back around and now reap what you have spent? Because let's be real. So for a lot of us people, a lot of us, especially in this community, it's not the problem of sowing, growing, identifying, separating. It's, am I willing to turn back around and look my success in the face?
Yeah.
To look at what I actually did grow.
Oh my
God. And now be okay, not okay, but get the gumption, the ambition to take additional work, even more work than I did to reap was mine.
How many of us, and we see this in the Red Sea experience, right?
Yeah.
How many Rose, listen,
she throwing
Rose
it in.
know about this. Rose know this.
Man, he had to plan nothing.
Rose planted oh my goodness.
She planted a tomato in the wrong spot,
the weed,
and it's still considered a weed. When trying to force yourself to be planted in a place the gardener doesn't want or need, you can be considered a tear. Yeah. All right.
Oh, y'all listen. Y'all on fire tonight.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Donna. She says, falling for a purpose. Everyone will not be at the harvest with you. Reaping is the most labor-intensive part of the harvest, especially when you don't have,
Mhm.
like they said, the mechanizations, the machines, the resources like some of these larger farms have. And that's another piece too. A whole nother piece too, right? Leonore says, accept and accept
Mhm.
that it may not be as much as you thought.
You know what hits me about this, man? What hits me about this, I was alluding to it before.
Yeah.
For some of us, oh, okay, Lord.
Mhm.
For some of us, praying is easier than harvesting. So we'll keep praying.
Yeah.
We done prayed and networked. We
Wow.
done prayed and went back to school.
Mhm.
We done prayed and read books. We done prayed and filed reports. We done prayed and done all these things. And God's like,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
Yeah.
I need you to do the most labor intensive part now
Yeah.
and bring in the fruit
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah. Hey, Cerise, we in the same boat. As soon as he said that, the Lord was like, yeah, your harvest is right in the book.
We here. We here.
You got the experiences. You know the characters. You know the plot because it's your life. It's time to harvest. It's time to put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, listen. We talking to ourselves too.
I'm telling you, it is the case. How many times? I think I preached a whole series about this one time.
Yeah.
How many times do we use prayer as an excuse to not do the thing that not do the next thing?
The next thing.
That's Red Sea.
Yeah.
That's Red Sea. Red Sea guys like, why y'all praying?
Yeah.
Start walking.
That's real. That's real. Oh. And the harvest. So here's where grace comes in. You read further up, and it says that the harvest was 30, 60, 90. That's not normal for a farmer. So this is where grace comes in, and where God says you plant one seed, and even though you're supposed to get maybe eightfold, you're getting 30, 60, 90. So that there's that. But taking it from a different angle. So Leonore said sometimes it may not be the amount of what you thought. Let's go ahead and say that it is, right? Or beyond. What happens though is you may not have expected, and this is the key, whether if it's more than you thought or less than you thought, the expectation is a little bit different. It looks different than what you probably envisioned it to be. By the grace of God, the different is a positive thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
My reaping that happened earlier this year was creating a course. See, sometimes we do stuff and we don't even realize. We don't even realize that we've done the thing. Right now, all it needs to do is, y'all, it's still sitting there. I'm still paying for it, right? All it needs to be done now. You know, there's some people who've bought it, and that's cool or whatever, but that's not enough. That ain't the harvest. The harvest is when I know, on top of everything that I'm doing right now, this is also meeting what we had anticipated this to do. It needs to be activated. It needs to be reaped. The work that y'all put in. Listen, man, some of y'all, the work that y'all put in over the last 5 years, 6 years, man, 7 years, praying over certain things, and it's already done. You might have forgot about it, but God didn't forget. And God is going to place somebody or some situation like he did for me this week in your path that even though you are moving in a different direction or a tangent or parallel direction and you are succeeding, he says, you reap in here, but I want you to reap here too. Some of y'all don't think that you can have more than one field to reap from. And so you'll leave one field and just reap one field at a time. Guys like, head and not the tail. While you getting the benefits here, go ahead and get them over here. But God, I don't know if you don't. Just hop over. You get everything that I need, that you'll need in order to make that happen. Elliot. So Pastor Brick says, sometimes our comfort causes us to limit God's power. So we get comfortable in a plant and a harvest, which is the small wins, when God was pushing us to continue to plant and continue to reap in multiple seasons of harvest. Is exactly what I was just, he just said it much more succinctly and much more eloquently than I could have ever done. Yeah, y'all. Hey, and listen, leave some fields alone.
Oh, listen.
It's 8:15. We
Oh my goodness. It's some listen,
there's some fields that you did plant, you did the work, and it's not for you to reap it.
that's not for you.
It's not.
That's for somebody else.
Yeah, the harvest is somebody else's harvest.
Yeah. And that's
It's-
okay.
and that's okay, y'all. It's
And
for somebody else to separate. Maybe your job in the field is to do the separation. Somebody else comes in and starts whoosh, going ahead and going through and reaping. Maybe your job is to sow the seed and not see anything else and walk away.
And keep moving, yo.
Maybe your job is to break the ground. You ain't even dropping nothing. You just breaking the ground for somebody else to show up in the field that you thought was yours. All right.
Have to move on.
Yeah.
Yo,
Don't become the terror.
do it. Don't do it. And you know what? How just to extend what Rose was saying a little bit further.
Yeah.
What happens when you're in a place, it was a good place, and you're supposed to be planted there.
Yeah.
But the season changes and you do not move to the next spot. You end up becoming a weed in the spot where you were originally planted. All right, Rose. Rose taking us out. We praying after this.
We praying. She said we can go further. She says you can spray weed killer so your garden looks good, but the weed killer has just transformed the DNA of the seed, causing it to be weaker in the storm, as the weed killer has also depleted the soil of what it needed. Working the garden organically may be more work, but you get the heirloom, the birthright, the harvest, which is known for being sweeter. It might not be as bountiful, but it is oh so much sweeter. Matthew 13, y'all.
That's it. Work in it. Maybe more work. It's some stuff, y'all. We come back tomorrow. We come back tomorrow with it. Yeah. There's some stuff in our lives right now, all of us. That's why Chris and I resonate with this so much. It's some stuff that we have been praying and we have received what God has planted in us, and we recognize it. And God is like, all right, cool. Harvest time. Oh, yeah. That's too much work. Can I just vision cast again? No, we don't need that. We done that. You don't need no more vision boards. You got one.
That's it.
Can I do another SWOT analysis? No, we don't need that. It's time to go to work. It's time to go pray and work. It's time to go work.
That's it.
Pray and work.
Hey, Lee ended the comment on how you started it.
We started at the beginning, right? We said, "Woo!"
That's the bookend right there.
That's from 7:35.
That's the bookend
from 8:18.
Oh man,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Listen, we love y'all, family. We're gonna pray for y'all. We're gonna pray out. Yeah. You can drop your prayer requests so we can pray for each other. And I know our community continues to pray for each other. We're gonna general pray us out, and then we're gonna be back tomorrow to continue to hang out some more. Good to see y'all. I know y'all disturbed, but it's a holy disturbance.
That's it.
Your spirit is disturbed.
Yeah.
We got work to do. We naming and claiming, but ain't working.
You starting up again?
No. Chris, pray.
Father God, we thank you so much. There are so many different fields that we have just spoke to tonight. Each of us have at least one that we know either needs to be sown, it needs to be prepared, there needs to be some sort of separation. And maybe it's just time to put in the additional intensive labor to start reaping the work that we already done.
Yeah.
Wherever stage that we're in, Lord, I'm just simply asking that you will give us, because you already have, but you will give us the bravery. Give us the courage, give us the trust, the faith that we need to know that wherever stage we're in, not looking at anybody else's field, whatever stage we're in, that we do the assignment you've called us to do. God, help us to not look at the amount. Your grace has already said it's going to be more than we could even think. We don't even have to worry about how much. God, what you want us to do is you want us to focus on the very next thing that you've called us to in the field, in the vineyard that you've given us, that you've tasked for us to do. And Lord, help us not to lose the bigger picture. There's a bigger harvest. There's your harvest.
Yeah.
You're coming for us.
Yeah.
And we're simply asking that as we're faithful in the work that you've given us to do, that we don't lose sight of whose field it is and whose field we are, whose harvest we belong to. We love you, God, and we trust and we know and we believe that in whatever stage that we're in, you're going to show up for us in a bountiful, duplicitous, that may not even be the right word, God, but in a duplicative manner. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Woo! I think duplicitous means like double-sided or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, we're gonna work that out. That's what
We gonna work that.
Yeah. Whatever it means, hopefully it means it's pray.